Welcome to the Steve Wilmot Show, presented by Aria Health on WBCB1490.com. I'm Sean Lerman, here with Neshaminy Redskins head coach Steve Wilmot, still rolling along in the playoffs after a win over Quakertown on Friday. A big game for Neshaminy. Coach, congratulations, first of all, on the win. Now looking ahead to a matchup with North Penn.
Yep, we're looking forward to playing North Penn again. I think the North Penn games, I think those players have a lot of respect for our program. We definitely have a lot of respect for their program, so we're hoping to have a really good game.
We'll look more in depth at that North Penn game coming up, but first we'll start by looking back at the Quakertown win. Coach, their running back and quarterback, both highly talented coming into the game. We'll start by talking about their running back. It seemed like he was very fast. Once he got into some space, he was very quick, could really run quite a bit, but it seemed like you guys did a nice job of getting contact on him in the backfield.
Yeah, that was our plan. Our plan was to, kind of try to stop him before he gets going and kind of contain the quarterback. I think early on, I think we were doing a better job at stopping the running back than we were the quarterback. But, the second half, I think we tightened everything up.
Well, as far as stopping the quarterback, I think Jack Spengler probably had a lot to say about that. 3 interceptions in the game. Talk about his performance. He was great.
And what you see on film is even really more impressive. I mean, he's out there in space, and he just, from film study and everything else, he just has like a sixth sense, and he was just sensing when that guy was going to come behind him, and he was just kind of stepping in front of passes. So I'd have to say, on film, it even looked more impressive than it did, on Friday night.
That's pretty amazing, because it was pretty impressive watching him come up with 3 interceptions. He had a fumble recovery as well, I believe.
Yes, he did.
An outstanding game for Jack Spengler. So this was a Quakertown offense that, like I said, very highly touted coming into the game. Anyone else that impressed you defensively as far as standing out on film?
All of our linebackers, I think, had to do a really nice job. Our defensive ends were having a tough night containing Garlic. I saw Eddie Perry and Kyle Osterhout on the inside doing a really good job locking out on their offensive linemen. It was a tough night to be a defensive end, especially with that quarterback. But I think our linebackers did a nice job of rallying to the football once that quarterback broke contain. And obviously Jack had the interceptions, and Kyle had a couple good plays. Kyle Smith and Dalton and Ben Stern I saw have a couple big plays out there. So overall, I think it was an overall great defensive effort.
On the offensive side of the ball, another good performance offensively. What stood out for you?
Mason's throw and Denzel's catch I thought were very impressive. I thought Denzel was going to get tackled. I didn't even see him finishing the run during the game on Friday night. I was getting another personnel package ready. On film, that throw and catch, I mean, Mason put it exactly where he did throw it. Denzel ran underneath it, showing a really terrific burst of speed to get underneath that ball. So that was very impressive. Our offensive line did what we had to do. It was a tough front. Quakertown had a real tough defensive front. They were geared up to stop our run. At times they did. At times they did a real nice job against us. But it took 4 quarters of battling to finally get to the point where we were feeling comfortable with things. At the end, our H-back, our offensive line, and Will and Joe Perone had to run there at the end too. It was tough sledding in there running the ball. Okay, thankfully, Denzel I think had 7 catches total. Jack had a catch. I think Zach might even had a catch. But it was tough sledding in there running the ball.
For Denzel, not just a great game offensive, but also special teams. Had a punt return for a touchdown. Talk us through that one.
I mean, we work on the blocking every week. Sometimes Denzel doesn't get the best balls to field. But I mean, they have a really good punter. I think he's a Division I punter. And Denzel was able to, get a nice, it wasn't a jump kick like we've been seeing a lot this year. It was one that he could catch, and then he kind of set up his blocking perfectly. And then, again, he showed a terrific burst of speed.
I kind of thought it was only a matter of time this season before Denzel broke one big. Yep. He's such a good athlete, a smart football player, and that was a great play by him. Denzel, just top to bottom, an incredible performance.
Yep, Denzel and Jack, both very, very good performances.
All right, Neshaminy with a big win over Quakertown, but no rest for the weary. A rematch coming up against North Penn on Friday night at North Penn once again. We'll talk about that more when we come back on the Steve Wilmot Show, presented by ARIA Health on WBCB1490.com.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go for the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. Go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
Hi, Merrill Reese to tell you about our good friends at the Revere Ristorante Italiano in nearby Ewing Township at 802 River Road. I can tell you that from South Philadelphia to New York's Mulberry Street, there's no better Italian cuisine than that served at the Revere. Start your meal with one of their great appetizers or salads. Entrees include outstanding veal dishes, fresh seafood daily, excellent steaks and chops, homemade pasta dishes, daily specials, and much more. You can also enjoy their bar area, where on most weekends, entertainment is offered. The Revere also does off-premise catering and can accommodate private parties for any affair, including business functions. Call the Revere Ristorante Italiano for more information and reservations at 609-882-6365. 882-6365. The Revere Ristorante Italiano open Monday through Friday for lunch and 7 days for dinner at 802 River Road, right off the Wilbertha Road exit on Route 29. In nearby Ewing Township.
Don't forget, if you miss any of your local high school sports action, you can read all about it in tomorrow's edition of the Trentonian. For your complete local and national news 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian, or online at thetrentonian.com. The only newspaper serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian.
Welcome back to the Steve Wilmot Show, presented by ARIA Health on WBCB1490.com. I'm Sean Lerman with the Chamonix Redskins head coach Steve Wilmot. Coach, a rematch now against North Penn. How do things change when you've already seen your team play against a team earlier in the year?
Well, I mean, you know, we have some things that are going to counter them, and I'm sure they have some things that are going to counter us. You know, I think I feel comfortable. Well, I felt even first game I was pretty comfortable with what they'd be doing. I mean, North Penn is North Penn. You know, they have a terrific quarterback, a terrific running back, a very good wide receiver, good lines. You know, I mean, yeah, you feel comfortable with what, I mean, they've been a successful team all year because they run a balanced offense and they're tough on defense.
You know, speaking of that balanced offense, their quarterback, Reese Udinsky, I remember when we talked about the game going into the North Penn game last time, you were worried, not necessarily worried, but one thing you were looking at was that tight end up the seam down the middle of the field. How do you feel that you did against that last time? Is that still something that you think is a big part of their offense?
Yeah, I mean, that is an important part of their offense. On plays that we think will do that, we'll ask our defensive end to kind of get a jam on them a little bit, to kind of slow them down. I think we did a very good job of that the first game. Yeah, but again, he's a quarterback. You're not going to be able to totally stop. I mean, he's a good quarterback. You can just try to keep things in front of you, and you know, and just rally to the ball from there. He's a very good quarterback.
Now, as far as the backs they have in the backfield, they'll run with Nifis West, Justin Ostapovich. They have a fullback, I believe, as well. I think Isabella is the name. So when you've got three backs who get the ball a fair amount, that all kind of have different styles, how do you handle that on defense?
You just play your assignment. That's all you can do. You can't get caught into looking in the backfield. I mean, we run a gap type defense, so if you're supposed to be in between the guard and the center, you got to just make sure you're locking out and keeping your head between the guard and the center. You can't really key on one guy, and that's pretty much how we play defense for any team, really.
It's about more of a balanced approach, making sure, because this is a team, as you said, they run, they pass. There's no one specific thing that they're going to do 75-80% of the time, like some of the teams that you play. So I guess, like you said, playing your assignments. One thing we don't talk about a ton with previewing games is the special teams facet, but I think special teams were important the first time that you guys played North Penn earlier in this year. What do you want to see out of the special teams unit?
I mean, actually, one of the coaches and I, before you came, were just, trying to, they do some things kickoff-wise. North Penn has been like producing kicker after kicker after kicker, and they have a kicker this year who skies the ball and he puts it over there and he puts it over there. So we're basically going to have to defend on kickoff return to make sure we don't make any mistakes. I've been a part of games, where the other team has had a kicker like this, and it can change a game if you don't field the ball cleanly. So sometimes you have to change your personnel up. So you have more of the kids with hands in the back that can catch, and maybe they might kick it deep. After hearing maybe we're changing the personnel, maybe Big Beck will kick it deep. But you gotta be sound on special teams. If you're not sound on special teams, you could lose football games.
On the offensive side of the ball, I know the last time the two teams played, the field conditions were a little rough out there. It was a muddy field. It was a little wet outside. This time it looks like it should be a little bit nicer on Friday. How does that change things as far as being an offensive coach and getting to deal with nice weather and a clearer playing field?
I guess good. I mean, we got to catch the ball. Last game we had a couple drops, and I'm not sure if we could blame the wet field for that. We just got to catch the ball. We got to throw the ball. We got to catch the ball. We got to protect the passer. Having a pass game complementing the run game, I think, is important for this type of game, and that's what we've had in the last 3 games since the North Penn game. We've had, we've been throwing the ball and catching the ball a lot better, and we've been balancing out just the run game. First time we played North Penn, we did okay in the run game, but we didn't do good enough in the pass game. So we definitely have to do a little bit better if we expect to win.
All right, Coach. Well, before we get going here, one of the strangest things that I ever saw happen on a football field was at that North Penn game, and it had to do with the muddy field. It was on a kickoff. The ball came down and just planted right in the ground. It didn't bounce. It didn't roll. It just planted right there in the ground. Yeah. What is something that maybe stands out in your mind over the years, something weird or unusual that you've seen on a football field?
Weird or unusual? Man.
Funny story, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not one for remembering great details. We have some coaches on our staff, like Coach French. He can remember minute details about every game in the last 15 years at Neshaminy, but I'm not a great minute detail. I just kind of remember the big picture type of thing. So I'm sure I've seen a lot of interesting things, but I'm not sure exactly what.
All right. Anything from when you were a player back in the day that stands out? Something that stood out for you back then?
Yeah, I just remember funny stuff. Well, even the last North Penn game, we had we called a play, and it was an audible in the line of scrimmage, and we had two of our guards run right into each other. I remember in high school we had twins. We ran an offense, like a wing T type offense where the guards pull a lot. And I remember those twins like 4 or 5 times throughout the course of the year. They run smack right into each other. And unfortunately, we had that happen the last North Penn game, and hopefully it won't happen this game. But I'm sure there's a lot of funny things. I try to not take things too seriously. I laugh a lot during the course of the game. But I don't have a great memory right now.
That's not a bad story, especially because you would kind of think that twins, the idea is they're always on the same page. You'd think that they would be working in tandem pretty well, so that is pretty funny. Yeah. All right, Coach, well, good luck against North Penn on Friday. Should be a fun game. It was close the first time. Neshaminy looking for a big win against North Penn here in the District 1 playoffs. Check it out live at WBCB1490.com. We'll go live at 6:45 on BCB's website. I'm Sean Lerman. He's Neshaminy Redskins head coach Steve Wilmot. We'll see you on Friday.